3 weeks sound good?
That should give you a taste.
No, wait, what do you mean, 3 weeks?
If you just wait for just...
You can't do Christmas without some Christmas horror, sci-fi horror in this case, and perhaps the most beloved episode of Black Mirror, White Christmas. Two men, working some unknown job in a snowy wasteland, finally decide to get to know each other after 5 years of isolation. John Hamm poses a challenge. Guess what I used to do for a living? What follows are 3 eerie sci-fi shorts, with the audience wondering just what the hell is up with the cabin and these 2 guys being there for 5 years on top of it all. So, before we sum it up, let's just do a breakdown of each bit. The first plotline involves a pickup artist coaching service, where you're being fed lines by a cynical smooth talker who can see everything that you can. It's not exactly amazing in concept, but the execution is sound, and it begins a trend that will continue through the rest of the episode where the show masterfully metes out information to the viewer at a rate that keeps them on the edge of their seat. The key to tension is that the audience is always the least informed person compared to the characters, and the reveals that the schmuck is being watched by a gang of people, not just his coach. The schmuck knows about this and watches others too, and that the coach is actually married and doing this for a weird thrill, all make the episode engaging. And that's all we really needed from the story, but since it's Black Mirror, there had to be a quote-unquote horrific twist, this time in the form of the woman he is seducing, noticing him talking to his spectators, assuming he hears voices in his head, and then doing a murder-suicide because she hears voices in her head too and wants to end their suffering together. You have to be fucking kidding me. That's the kind of thing you'd expect from the Scary Door. Absolutely embarrassing, but otherwise a great sketch up until the ending. The second segment is the undisputed highlight of the episode, about how John Hamm used to make a living torturing artificial intelligence by making them feel like they lived in isolation for years on end until they cooperated. It is literally a feel-bad-for-your-toaster plot, but it does 2 things right that garbage like Detroit Become Human does wrong. For one, it is actually emotionally frightening instead of just invoking civil rights and Holocaust history to play to the cheap seats. And 2, they actually address the legitimate counter-arguments.
She thought she was real.
But she wasn't.
It's barbaric.
It wasn't really real, so it wasn't really barbaric. Most people would say, she's only made a code, she's not real, fuck her.
I've seen too many feel bad for robot things that just completely ignore this angle and work from a baseline that all people see robots as people. Some of us just hate them for no reason. Hearing a fairly effective dismissive argument of the horrors faced by the AI only amplifies the horror still lingering from the sequence. Although I will say this plotline is a lot like that game Until Dawn, where you're watching it and you're totally along for the ride, but then as soon as it's over, you can kind of see how silly some of it was. Like, really? You're undergoing invasive surgery and subcontracting a robot torturer so you can have your toasts the way you like it? This was the most direct solution to you? I figured mine out in like 2 days. It's setting the dial to right between 3 and 4. Seriously, I'm supposed to buy this? But still, it is undeniably creepy and effective. And then you have your final segment of the night, following the other character. When his lady becomes accidentally pregnant, she uses advanced futuristic technology to block her boyfriend. He only sees her as a white haze and they can't communicate in any way. After her death, he learns that their child was actually a bastard, and after the revelation, he kills her father in a fit of rage. Not her father, the bastard's father, but his ex-girlfriend's father. After he confesses this to John Hamm, Hamm reveals the episode's true twist. The killer is an AI after all, copied from someone else's brain, being used for interrogation purposes instead of toast buttering purposes. With the confession wheedled out, Hamm expects to walk free for his crimes in the first segment, but he winds up blocked by everyone by order of the UK government. It's kind of a weird punishment that doesn't make a lot of sense and could be more creepy, maybe if they just had him like branded to everyone as a sex offender. I mean, he can't really buy groceries or pay his rent or anything now. What the fuck is he going to do? Run to the forest and carve a city out of the living wood? And our interrogatee? Well, a mean-spirited cop sets his virtual reality to advance 1,000 years every minute to torture the copied consciousness of the murderer that they just convicted 5 minutes ago. Just, like, for a laugh, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. The concept they cribbed from Stephen King's The Jaunt is a fundamentally horrific one. To be trapped in isolation for an unimaginable amount of time, 1,000 times longer than that of a human lifespan, with no possibility of escape, is one of the most chilling things one can imagine. I know the writers of Black Mirror certainly felt that way, because they've recycled that exact same premise 3 fucking times.
He fed your DNA in, he grew you inside his computer, and bam, you pop up here like a Pop-Tart.
Yes, I got it. Yeah, it's scary.
Eternal waking nightmare from which there is no escape.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's scary. I know, yeah. Oh, it is a scary idea.
Now recording a true copy of his mind perpetually experiencing.
Oh, just write something new, for God's sake. No. No, wait, I take it all back. Don't write something new. I'll see you tomorrow. But in tomorrow's comments, please refrain from discussing f***ing or s***ing or f***ing or f***asting or f***ing